Hey guys, and welcome back to another Glitches in Metal Gear Solid video. Today I have something for the hind-d, where we look at a little bit of historic things and also a brand new discovery that has been made by other people and then brought forward to us speedrunners. So let's begin. We have here my Italian Tekken player, not even a speedrunner, Tilt, who found out randomly by playing around in the hind boss fight that if you stand in a certain spot in the top left corner and shoot yourself with the stinger to blow up and fall behind, that you can actually slip between two cracks in the textures. The reason is because on the Tower B roof and also on the Tower A roof, there are steps that are around the corners of that tower map, and it just so happens if you just have the perfect alignment and fall over backwards, you can actually slip past these textures and fall out of bounds. The thing is, Tilt found this on the Italian PAL version, which of course is not that interesting to speedrunners because PAL runs of course at 25 FPS and is hence slower and takes longer to complete in a speedrun versus the NTSC versions, the American or Japanese versions of Metal Gear Solid. Thankfully though, after some more testing and a few more setups, for example also with punches and grenades, but also on the top right corner using a stinger, we found there are multiple ways how we can slip past these textures also on the NTSC versions of Metal Gear Solid, and even the Integra version where we first assumed that this little slip has actually been fixed. This is not even the first instance of us being able to slip between the cracks on the towers. Magnum 66, like 11 years ago, found that you can also, just using the vent glitch on Tower A, to go out of bounds and then walk around the map. Now, of course, the key question that you will have out there is probably, well, is this even useful? And here's the thing, so far, not. There are a few consequences that we hope that we find out with this technique. For example, being able to skip the inside of Tower B and slipping past, for example, the 4 Horsemen elevator fight after we've beaten the Hind in an all bosses category. It would be fantastic if we could somehow explode ourselves and then slip between, for example, the stairs to just fall down all the way to the bottom, like we can actually do in a different manner with the PC Integra version from 2000, where we have a different trick that allows us to remove our own hitbox and then walk past load zone triggers to go out of bounds. So sadly, this is not a thing that we can do on console because the same setup doesn't work there, but still, the fact that we have a way to reliably get out of bounds at least in one spot of the game makes us hopeful that we can find other places. Magnum 66 was also the one who showed us the docks glitch, where you can slip between the stairs of the docks in the beginning of Metal Gear Solid 1. However, that also sadly so far has also not yielded any useful insights for us about skipping parts in the game. But however, there's also yet another instance how you can clip between two textures in Metal Gear Solid 1. More info about how to do that in that video. Even in the Tower B itself, sadly, it just so happens that if you go out of bounds, there isn't really much you can do. There are certain things that happen if you go out of bounds. For one, the Hind goes just anywhere. It's not reliable anymore. It's just drifting all over the place and trying to shoot you. If you stay underneath the map but inside the battle arena, you can still shoot with the stinger at the Hind, but the distance is just too big and the Hind rockets always explode before you even hit the Hind, so you cannot even damage it. But of course, the Hind can still shoot you with his LMG, which is a little bit unfair. Other cool things are that when you're out of bounds, you can also walk around the map and go actually to Tower A. And it just so happens that at least off the southern end of the map, the Tower A actually can be walked on, but because there's really no intentional hitbox, of course, for you to walk on, you would just fall down back again to the bottom of the floor. So effectively, all we found out right now only is that this is a very cool thing you can do at the end of the fight. Here's a demonstration where I fought the Hind and then quickly went out of bounds as we were waiting for the Hind rocket to hit us. I was hoping maybe if we do that, the game glitches out and then skips the animation or the cutscene and we can just pass it, go directly to the next load zone, which is, well, reloading the Tower B, but this time past the Hind fight. Still would save us some seconds if we can manage that, but sadly it doesn't work like that. Even if we're out of bounds, while the camera looks at something else, we still get reloaded back to Tower B just like usual after having waited the amount of time that we need to wait. So for now, this whole thing is just a fun thing you can do to show off that you know a little bit more about Metal Gear Solid than all of your friends, and I hope you give it a try because it's actually really fun. If you also look back at the history in Tower B even, this is not the first time that we've been able to go out of bounds. Magnum 66 once again also found an alternative method how we can go out of bounds on Tower B and actually stay on top of the tower and not fall down. Well, it is so tricky, I have to say though, but it is possible to stay on top while being outside of the arena. All you need to do is use the vent glitch to go to this metallic pipe there and then force Snake to stand up. You will standing up inside the pipe, and just by going left and right, you will automatically be pushed up on top of the metal pipe. Then you can walk on that outer metal structure and walk around the outer edges of that tower. You can even actually walk inside the hut again, where the stairs are, and then leave the fight. However, also here, just like Magnum 66 said a decade ago, sadly this does not lead to anything because the Hind has still not been beaten. The story flag, which updates after you've beaten the Hind, has not updated, and so even when you go downstairs again, the boxes have not moved and you cannot actually go to the elevator. So you're forced in this state, you have to fight the Hind, unless you find a way, of course, to mitigate that. And this is what we do in the any % console category, of course, where even before we went up to the Hind, we skip the interaction with Otacon using the weapons glitch, where we delete this thing from our inventory, which is a whole other ideal. I linked to a speedrun tutorial if you want to see more about that. And then after we skipped Otacon's dialogue, we'll go up to the Hind and then come back down again. The boxes have actually changed to a 2x2 configuration. Thanks to an animation glitch, then even on the console versions, we can slip onto these boxes, walk inside and fall down from the full height. Because there's no fall damage in Metal Gear Solid 1, we actually can effectively skip the Hind that way. We've known that for a decade, but it's still fun to know a little bit about the history of skipping that fight or attempting to skip the fight by going out of bounds. And now at least we have a new method. But who knows, maybe in yet another 2-3 years we find another glitch and then we can combine that with this texture slipping, and it can happen that we find a brand new break and type save in Metal Gear Solid speedrunning. Until then though, I hope you liked this little video and explanation, and also look back at other glitches that we normally don't talk about. I hope you learned something, and of course, happy running everyone, and enjoy Metal Gear Solid. Have a nice day, and bye bye.